Great information so far, and we're going to finish really strong here. As you know, I tend to pick a fight with the national mainstream media because a lot of the information tends to be blanketed. It's not really so much about good information and being resourceful as it is sensationalism and driving ratings. You've seen that in the plane crash with CNN. I mean, the coverage has been absurd. But I don't like to see this when it comes to real estate, financial planning, and the marketplace because it can really throw you through a loop and cause you to make bad decisions. Here's a video this week, though, from CNBC talking about buyers being priced out of the marketplace. And we've been getting a lot of questions about this at craigsewing.com. So let's go ahead and roll tape.
The housing market is back in some places, and while that's good for current homeowners because it means their homes are worth more, many would-be buyers are finding they can't afford it. In Las Vegas, home prices are up almost 25%, and that's just in 1 year. In San Francisco, prices are up 23% thanks to deep-pocketed tech workers. Prices are up 16% in Miami as South Americans buy up a bunch of real estate, but it's not just rising prices that are pushing some people out of the market. There's also not a lot of homes for sale because new construction isn't back to normal, and mortgage rates have been going up. Take a look at this, a $200,000 mortgage with a 30-year fixed-rate loan.
Okay, you know, that's honestly a pretty decent concern. Here to help me with this topic and much more, Shannon Keatley with the Alliance Group. Shannon, welcome.
Hey, Craig, thanks for having us again.
Of course, Glen, welcome back as well. You guys helped a lot of people avoid foreclosure. You guys actually wrote a book about it, created a DVD. You've been on the radio show for years talking about this. A lot of the people that short sold their home was because they had some of these loose lending programs. A lot of the lack of affordability is because some of the loan programs aren't necessarily there. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's tougher to get financing. Can you comment on that?
No, I agree 100%. It went from the extreme of anybody was getting money as long as you could sign a piece of paper to now where you actually have to be able to prove that you can afford the home, which is the way it should be. So yes, you do have less people that are able to qualify than you did before, but that's what got us into the big mess that we had and caused a big downturn with it. So
it's a more conservative growth. Now, I know a lot of the investors came in, they've kind of moved out of the marketplace. So you're not going to see 20% appreciation. That's okay. But if you can see a steady appreciation at 3 to 5%, I mean, that's really healthy. You do some math. 3 to 5% of 500,000, you're talking 15 to 25,000.
Yeah.
So it's good to have you in here. I'm going to throw a curveball at you real quick. I always have fun. One of the things about real estate is that it's a relationship business, and if you haven't ever picked up on it, whether you tune into my radio show or my TV show, the people that are on the show are people that I know really well. Melissa Tucci and I almost had a laugh attack the last time she was on the TV show. Kurt Wanabo, P. Milton played golf with these guys. Last weekend, Glen and I played in a charity golf tournament for Lou Gehrig's disease, and we caught Glen on tape. Have you seen this?
I have.
All right, so let's see Glen at Coronado.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at that. Wow.
He crushed that ball.
Wow, and the Masters
we got
is
the
this week.
slow-mo shot. Look at that swing.
Woo.
Gets into it. I mean, that ball was a good 190. No, I'm just kidding. It was a great hit. We had a lot of fun doing
Impressive.
that. We did it for a San Diego-based charity. You guys do a ton of charities. You do the Nice Guys event. You're constantly. You fed the homeless last year. This was it was fun. You can talk me into that anytime. But the point I really tried to make here is that it is a relationship business. I don't come in here and pretend to not know the people that are aligned with this show. I know them well. I work with them professionally outside. I have friendships with them on a personal level as well, and it's why I can give my highest recommendation. So if you tune in the radio show, the TV show, you know that I'm handing you off to someone that look, I trust them, and I hope you can too. And when it comes to the information these guys are going to provide, I mean, it's very trustworthy. You guys did it through a very difficult market with short sales, foreclosures. You guys did 109 transactions just between you last year, plus all of your agents and your great team. And not only your agents, but the Alliance Group itself is an extension of real estate services from mortgage to estate planning, tax planning. So, I mean, you guys really were involved in helping people in a lot of different ways. Right now we have this market that people are trying to understand, right? You have low interest rates. It's kind of cooled down a little bit. What does it feel like for you? You're out of Point Loma, Ocean Beach, covering all of San Diego. But what does it feel like for you guys and what you're seeing with the clients you're working with?
It's a busy market right now. We have quite a few homes coming on the market. We don't see
your homes. Or just homes in general?
Homes in general.
Okay.
So, I mean, our inventory and our listings that we're taking clients we're helping, but also just the market as a whole. There's a lot of buyers out there, and kind of that clip that you showed when we started the segment, as far as they're talking about the supply just isn't there, that's what we're experiencing right now. There isn't a lot of supply, or there aren't a lot of homes on the market, because when homes are coming on the market, as long as they're priced right, they're getting picked up, and we're seeing multiple offers on the properties in the first few days because there's just not enough homes out there. So it's a real active market right now. So for sellers, it's a great time to sell. For buyers, it's a great time to buy because we still have the low interest rates, and they've come up a little bit from where we were, but they're still at
I want to make sure I validate that point, because a lot of times when I think, well, he's a real estate professional. Obviously, he's going to say buyers buy, sellers sell, because it's beneficial to him. But the truth is, there's price versus cost. The cost of home ownership is good for buyers, low interest rates. The price is when you sell. Now you can get good offers on your property. It's a little bit of a seller's market, low inventory. You had some slides that you were going to show for us today, really illustrating the numbers. And thank God that you guys are doing this, because I've been talking around them for long enough. So I appreciate you bringing them in. So let's look at the first one.
So basically what this is showing is, this is for if somebody was in the looking at homes right now in the 500 price range. Conventional 20% down, you'd have a mortgage of about $400,000. So today's current rate's around 4.4. You've got a mortgage of about $2,000. We're talking, a lot of people are saying, well, you know what, I might wait for a few more months, might wait till the end of the year. Rates are projected to be, by first quarter of next year, up 1%. So that'd be put us up in the 5.4 range. Well, if you wait that 1 year, that same home with the appreciation that's expected to be about 6% this year puts you at about $530,000. So your home that you're looking at is going to be more. Rates up more. You're going to have $400 more a month in payment. And that, for a lot of people, that they can't afford that. And where this really hits home is for the move-up buyers. And move-up buyers, for people who aren't real familiar, it's somebody that has a home to sell, and then they're going to be taking those proceeds, rolling them into a bigger, different home with it. We're talking to a lot of sellers right now that are saying, you know what, I'm going to wait. We had 20% last year. We know market's still appreciating. We want to ride this out a little bit more, get a little more for our home. Well, the thing that we always talk to them about is we show these slides, giving them that information, but it's helping them understand, well, if you wait for your home to go up, the home that you're going to be purchasing is also going up. So you're going to kind of have a wash.
Are you seeing a lot of people want to get back on the fence?
Absolutely. And it's that whole
Okay.
cost versus price thing that you were talking about. And so when you're looking at, and we're sitting down with so many of the sellers right now, like Glen said, who want to move up, that are in that $500,000 home, and they want to get into a better school district or want a bigger house for the family. And so we're seeing that time and time.
This is a big takeaway. There's a lot of people that you put off moving up because you haven't had the kid you're going to need the extra bedroom for, but you want to have a kid in the next year or so. You're going to need the bigger home. You're going to want to get in that school district. So in 3 to 5 years from now, it's going to make sense to move into that bigger home. The problem is I think what your slide illustrated there is that if you wait and interest rates go up, it's going to make that payment tougher. I think the move-up buyer might really go away in the next few years, because who is going to want to get rid of a 3.75 to go to a 6.5 versus now you can go to 3.75 and get a 4 1/4. You guys are in Point Loma and Ocean Beach, so I want to look at a little bit higher price range just to show what those numbers look like. So let's look at that next slide, guys.
Yeah. And here's again, like Glen was talking about, is
the same slide.
Yeah. The next
let's
slide
move
with
into
that.
the next slide. Oh, that's the income requirement. So that's for qualifying. Move to the next slide, guys.
Yeah. And this is an example of that move-up buyer, where now they're selling the $500,000 property, but getting into the $800,000 property. And like Glen said, if we're conservative and we look and prices go up 6%, now that cost of waiting, or that home, is now going to cost you next year at 6% appreciation, the $848. So it's almost $50,000 more if you're going to wait and see what happens to the price. So you're trying to get it here on the sale of the property at the $500,000, but at the $800,000 that you're moving up, that's also moving up as well.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where every situation's different.
Yeah.
You should look at the numbers. It makes sense to look at the numbers. AllianceGroupRE.com is your guys' website. But speaking of websites, so right now people know names like Trulia and Zillow. And now for a couple reasons. So one, it's the place you go and you try and figure out the property value, right?
Yeah.
Also now, I don't know if they're still doing this. I heard they backed off, but they were starting to show numbers of what realtors' production were. Now, it's funny because I've asked so many different real estate professionals if you like that or not. And guys, and gals like Glen and Shannon are like, sure, show the numbers because
Great
they're
for us.
dominating the market. But most don't like to see that. But explain what those websites are as far as getting the value of your property.
As far as getting value of your property, they're very unreliable for it.
Yeah.
We'll see, you take a $500,000 home, you'll see estimates at 600, you'll see estimates at 400, because they take data from everywhere, and it just plugs into the computers, whatever the calculation they come up with, or however they run those numbers. It doesn't look at the neighborhood. It doesn't look, oh, your home's on a cul-de-sac, you have a pool, all the different factors that come into, you put in a new kitchen that actually get factored into pricing a home, condition, and everything else. So the numbers are really unreliable with it.
Yeah, so here's a better site for you. It's bestsanDiegoHomesearch.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So bestsanDiegoHomesearch.com. If we could pull that up, guys. How does this work?
And this is for the home buyers that are out on the market and looking for homes. Because same thing, just like their values are pretty unreliable, so is the data. Zillow, Trulia, it's basically that garbage in, garbage out. They let people post their own listings, put up whatever they want. So we get calls all the time. The buyer will see, oh, I saw this property on Trulia. Well, you know what, that sold last year. Sorry, it's not there. I saw this one, and all the data, there's so much of it's unreliable. And then what they do is Zillow and Trulia, they're just trying to make money off of realtors buying leads. So when somebody inquires about a property, they're not even getting hold of the agent that has the listing. It's just an unreliable source. Where with our site, the Best San Diego Home Search, and you have one source that's updated daily, multiple times a day, with data directly from the MLS. So you actually have access to the same thing that we're looking at as realtors as far as the MLS feed.
Let me tell you this real quick. I had Kurt Wanabo on the radio show this week. You guys probably don't even know this, but it was incredible. He's telling this story about this property, had 14 offers on, 10 of them didn't even get put together right, and he ended up creating the deal with you, and it speaks to the relationship side of this business. Unfortunately, I'm out of time, though. Yeah. Glen, Shannon, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
Go to alliancegroupre.com if you want to find these guys. Thank you for tuning in to the American Dream. Great show today. If you missed any of it, we're going to upload it all to craigsewing.com. That's where you can also get your questions answered. Don't forget to tune in, 1170 AM, KCBQ, 6 o'clock every night. Have a great weekend.